Hi everyone. We're going to start off by talking about my learners. Here are my learners. I teach second grade in the St. Paul Public School District. I have 23 students in a regular ed classroom setting. I teach at an International Baccalaureate school where we are implementing the primary years program. I have a pretty diverse class with one Korean student, two Hmong students, two biracial students who are Black and white, and one Somali student and 17 Black or African American students. The year-end goal for second grade is to be reading at a level M on the scale of A through Z, and so far I have 50% of students that are reading at grade level, and my highest student is reading at a level Q, and my lowest student is still reading at a level A. So there is definitely a great wide range of reading levels in my class. The year-end math goals are to add and subtract two-digit numbers, name, recognize, and count up to 1,000, basic math facts, and to classify and compare 2D and 3D shapes. That's about where my students are and our learning targets, and I teach every subject level except for the specialist courses like gym, art, and Spanish. I am differentiating my students with something similar with the station rotation model. I currently am holding small groups. Students are also independently reading, and then there's also an individual learning station where students are engaged in apps of either Starfall or Raz-Kids. Starfall for the students that are still below grade level, and Raz-Kids is more for students that need a little bit more, something more challenging for them to grow as readers. And I like that it grows with students, and it actually includes all reading levels in that app. I also like that students are able to go home and also use this app at home. So if they want to continue their learning, they can do it at home as well. For math, I also have a station rotation, which we call the math task board. I also teach in small groups. We have a station where I modeled work for students so they're able to work independently, whether it's an activity that they glue into their math journal for record keeping so they can refer back to their work. And I also have the individual learning. Right now I am using an app or a website called Prodigy Math. It's a free app where students use to kind of go with their level. So once they answer questions correctly, they're able to move up levels. And I like that it also teaches students how to correctly answer the questions. And so that way students are able to be taught and also learn at the same time. The resources and the blended texts talked about how culture is a critical part of the success of any blended learning program. I personally believe that culture is a critical part to any classroom. It's important for students to know the routines that are set in place and that it is consistent so that they can continually do their work without distracting other students and holding them to high expectations. Because students are transitioning and moving and independently working, it's important for them to have a strong understanding of what the work time looks like and how it should feel like, and that when it's independent, it should be a quiet time for learning, but when it's time for collaboration or whatnot, that it's also it could be a little bit louder for conversation. And so it's important to build that strong culture in order to establish a successful learning program. Second resource I am referring to is the Blended Approach to Reading and Writing Graphic Stories article. Talked about how literacy pedagogy must adapt and change to meet the demands of a changing world. Our students are exposed to so many different types of literacy that are out there now, that students are reading online, they're reading books, they're reading articles, they're reading newspaper, they're reading all different types of literacy. And in order for us to meet their needs, we also have to change and adapt the way we teach literacy at school. And a part of that, I include Raz Kids just because it allows students to listen to the story being read to them. It also allows them to read the story and record themselves, and then they can also listen to themselves read. It also allows me to be able to listen to them read to see how they are doing with their fluency. And then it also allows students to be able to click on words individually or sentences so that they're able to learn through that aspect. So I think differentiation is very important, especially with students that are all learning at different levels and different paces. And it's important for us as educators to meet them and their needs. So thanks for listening.